Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A. I believe this is Q&A 203. I've kind of lost count over the last 202, but there you go. I'm Mr. Parkin. This guy sitting next to me is NJ.
What's up?
And we are the duo that is known as the British Fist.
Catching.
Now, here to answer, so just when you get that gets more harder and harder every bloody time you do it on my knuckles. I'm going to end up with no hand after this. You can't see me. Anyway, yeah, we're going to answer some more questions.
But before we get into this, I want to get into the thing that you came here to see. But I'm really surprised that after 4 years, the British Fist are still here, especially with the breakdown of our video. And I know it's not the right place to be mentioning this, but it's just surprising because obviously we're here to entertain and still talk about things related to wrestling. But it's just surprising after 4 years. There's something within the world of wrestling, world of WWE, that's keeping us here.
You know what it is, don't you? It's the fact that people, not just us, but it's the fact that people send in questions and we can answer them, and that is such a good feeling, don't you think?
And we also have NXT to thank.
We all also have NXT to thank as well. It's almost like John Cena said on that Jericho podcast.
That's not a good start, no.
Like I said, make sure you ask some more John Cena questions so we can really piss NJ off and really help that hairline recede a little bit more. But anyway, we'll get into this Q&A. We're still here. You know, Q&A 203. Paul Erickson Alejandrino. I got it correct. Will WWE ever go? Will WWE ever push? Will WWE ever go to push Paige? Sorry. I just had a bit of a mare there. She's my favourite WWE diva right now. I think she'll be a big part of the Divas Division going forward, personally. Paige. Oh, I mean, she's young.
She's done everything. She's finished.
Well,
she could be 8. She could retire now.
Well, probably so. But, you know, if she's not going to, she's going to be a massive part of the Divas Division going forward.
There's nothing for her left to do. To be honest, the Divas Division. Hashtag give Divas a chance. My freaking backside. People supporting that need their heads slapping together. I want to support the Divas Division, but all the main divas, AJ's gone, Paige has accomplished everything. None of the old classic divas are possibly going to come back. The divas they've got now, they're somewhat similar. You can support some because they have not had a chance yet, but still, there's nothing special about the Divas Division. I'm sorry for Divas fans, but Paige has accomplished everything. Or let's bring in an NXT diva. She'll beat everyone in about 2 months. Oh, there we are. Done.
Is that not really a bit of a representation of the lack of depth in the Divas Division? And the fact that it's just, there's not very many compelling characters there, and we're left with the same people every time, kind of like the Knockouts Division was back in the day.
Very true. And let's bring back Diva Search. Oh, yeah, to bring back a typical blonde with a few moves. I'm sorry. What they need to do is probably bring back some of the old classic divas. Bring Cheers. Oh, I can't wait to see her wrestle again. Because the divas they've got right now, until newer divas come in a load together, about 4. I'm sorry. Paige, woohoo, yeah, her time's come and gone.
This rant was brought to you by King of Kings NJ. This is a good question.
Yeah.
It's a question which I really wish we had about 1 or 2 weeks ago. Do you think that AJ Lee's career will be ending soon after I tweet to Stephanie McMahon?
Not at all.
I mean, it came as a bit of a surprise to me, but I kind of knew that with this whole CM Punk thing going on, that it would have to happen soon.
Why would AJ leave to Punk? They have no freaking reason to. AJ's the top diva of the WWE. Punk's ran away with his UFC stuff.
And his wife.
Was it who? Yeah, and all the controversy with WWE. Yeah, to be honest, it could be to do with Punk, but I personally think is that AJ has accomplished everything. She's got no other challenge left. She saw her list of future matches. Paige. Oh, Paige. Oh, yes. Oh, Naomi. Yes. Nikki. Paige. To be honest, she's accomplished everything. So to be honest, I'm glad she's gone.
To be honest, though, it probably got to the point of AJ Lee where she probably thought, you know what, like MJ said, is there much else I can do here? And I think I may have developed enough of a name for myself to make it outside of the WWE bubble. And now she's married to CM Punk and perhaps be pregnant. It's only speculation right now. You really think that with CM Punk being in UFC that she can just really be a part of that, and that's how she's gonna get her name out from that point onwards.
Another Divas question.
Do you think if Nikki Bella wasn't John Cena's girlfriend, she would have been pushed right now? I think they would have been pushed anyway because WWE have always had a hard on for the Bellas. So I think it's helped in a way, but they've always, WWE have always had a bit of a hard on for the Bellas. So there you go.
That is one of the reasons. And another thing that's going around the back of my head is that almost, don't take word on everything, but almost every diva has had a chance. Not for the championship. Like, we've got the Bellas, we've got the Funk Dactyls were climbing there. We've had Paige, AJ, Emma, obviously, until they repackaged her. So I think, to be honest, Nikki would have eventually had some kind of storyline that may have pushed her somewhere.
What are your thoughts on Solomon Crow's NXT debut? I don't know if you saw this. I was actually a tad disappointed. I thought they had debuted him in a much better way. Honestly, I just thought the way they did it just was very, very underwhelming personally, and I didn't get the feeling that a big superstar was coming on the scene like I did with Finn Balor or Sami Zayn or an Antonio Cesaro back in the day, or a Bray Wyatt. I never got that feeling that a big superstar was coming onto the NXT roster after that, and just because of that, I don't really think he'll go very far. I don't know whether you saw it. Well, then you don't really have an opinion on it, then, do you?
To be honest, all I'm saying is that I think when it comes to NXT, big or small wrestler, main event for NXT or not, they deserve a big welcoming. Because obviously, if they're going to be taken seriously eventually in the main roster, spot them as much as you can in NXT to see how they work progressing going forward. So make their income as big as possible.
How would you book Paige in WWE? She's very talented, but just like the other former NXT stars, they wasted her career.
I'll tell you.
Give us some different opponents.
Who?
I'm just saying, give us some different opponents. Go on.
Two things I would do. Number one, I think, again, I don't know why the WWE not doing it. Maybe none of the old divas want to come back, but I'd bring back someone who hardcore fans know can put on a good fight. Paige will have to put on a new match against someone who could beat her a few times before Paige gets the overall win. So I'd find an ex-diva that fans would want to see come back. The other way to help Paige is na 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 hey hey hey, because she's done everything. She should
in a year. She's only been on the WWE TV.
Well, she's accomplished everything.
I know, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
She's only been on for a year. She's always a 3-time Divas champion. Is it 3 times?
5, 6, 7,
whatever.
8.
So, 1 year.
So I think bring in an ex-diva, someone challenging for her, or 1 more year, retire.
Last question. What are your thoughts on Rhino and Brian Kendrick being in NXT? Well, the Brian Kendrick thing was a one-time thing,
yes.
So I don't mind that. Him and Finn Balor had a match. Fine. Rhino is a bit more long-term. I don't like these older guys being in NXT, but I do feel that the NXT guys will benefit from working with a guy like Rhino. I mean, just a veteran versus a new guy. It would help it would help the guys. It would help the Finn Balors, the Sami Zayns, the Kevin Owens of the world who will work with someone that's kind of been there, done that.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think there's anything wrong with the older talent.
As long as he's not in the main event and going for the title, I don't mind.
That's
as long as he's putting over guys and helping them learn.
It's like when I complimented TNA when you had all these wrestlers going into TNA just to be there as an opponent for the talent. So I think Rhino, Kendrick, I just couldn't remember much about him.
Brian Kendrick.
Apart from the Paul London stuff, I forgot everything else he did after Paul London.
He didn't remember the Brian Kendrick then, obviously. Oh, they did. Anyway, to the mat. Renegade Man 83. Thanks for the questions, by the way, Paul, Erickson, Alejandrino. We had a good 9-minute answering session there. Renegade Man 83. Once again, do you think the allegations are true about Triple H abusing China? Then again, would her history doing extracurricular activities on camera? Do you believe anything that comes in and out of her mouth, if you know what I mean? I don't really think we can say much about this because we don't really know. We don't really know what went on. So I just don't really feel obliged to comment on this because it's all speculation and there's no real truth to it that we know about as of yet.
I know Triple H is getting very successful even more now. He's going to the top. Let's just start firing negative news reports about him. Yeah, he did this to me. Oh, he did this. He cheered me. Yeah, and all that. Bring all that up again in more detail. China, your time has come and gone, my dear. I'm just thinking. Say what you want about Triple H, but nothing changes the fact that he's going to become multi-millionaire,
I mean,
take over the company, and you're going to be doing stuff.
backdoor to China too. Who knows? I got nothing against China. I just think that why weren't these out? Why weren't these allegations out years ago? Why are they only just come out now? You know, who knows? I mean, I don't want to get involved in this question. It's just a bit.
Too much.
Just yeah. Can NXT put on a great performance without the signing of top indie stars? I think the signing of top indie stars has helped it because a lot of people that liked the independent scene are now moving on to NXT. So I think NXT would still be good, but I don't think it would be as great because one of the attractions of it is that these independent guys that support independent wrestling are seeing their guys, the kind, the Hideo Itamis of the world, the Sami Zayns, the Kevin Owens, and that's one of the reasons why they're watching NXT. Not to mention that it's just a really good show in my opinion.
I want to believe this report that I have read. It's that they were showing the smaller guys are the future. They were showing like Neville and the smaller build guys being the future. So I think if that's the truth, the WWE are actually going to not concentrate on all the big, bulky, helium-built guys and concentrate on the smaller guys, the indie guys, and give them, because fans enjoy their performance. Yeah, people complain, oh, you just like them because they're hip-hop flyers. But if they're offering something that's entertaining to watch, then I think NXT showcasing them before the main roster is a brilliant idea.
I just wonder if while Vince is in charge, whether NXT will actually get the push that it deserves, in my opinion. Now, I know it's Triple H's baby, and I know Triple H is fully behind it, but Triple H can't really get fully behind it unless Vince McMahon is fully behind it. Now, I read a report recently that he went to an NXT show, and apparently Vince McMahon liked it. He didn't like the Better Than Mania chants that were going on there, but apparently Vince McMahon was a massive fan of NXT, and I believe that's the first time he's seen it. So hopefully from this one onwards, NXT will get, these guys that come in from NXT will get a bit more of a chance, unlike, the Emmas of the world, the Adam Roses of the world, the Curtis Axels of the world, etc. So let's just hope. What do you think of this year's WWE Hall of Fame?
Just gone, yeah.
Yeah, you had Kevin Nash, Randy Savage, Medusa, the Bushwhackers, yeah. Who else? I'm sure I'm missing some obvious ones. Rikishi was there. I'm missing some Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger was in it. It wasn't a bad Hall of Fame. I think it was a pretty decent Hall of Fame, personally.
Kevin Nash, I think he headlined it.
He headlined it because I think the WWE just didn't want it. With all due respect, I just didn't think they wanted someone headlining the Hall of Fame that couldn't be there to make the speech. So, if you know what I mean, that's why I think.
You could finish with the Connor thing. You could finish with the Connor thing.
Mm.
But either way, I think I did end up watching it. I thought it was very nicely done. The momentum of Rikishi, the Connor speeches. You had the all the names there. I just thought it was nicely done. And Arnold, and again, I had nothing wrong, and it was nice to watch.
Sensational LJ94, I believe that's the name. This is a good question. Why does everyone hate on TNA when they sign former WWE talent or hate on the talent and call them WWE rejects? Like these guys and girls are busting their ass to make a living for themselves, and meanwhile the majority of the people complaining will never take a bump in their life. What bothers me the most is that if someone from TNA like Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, or Samoa Joe went to WWE, these same people would just about pee their pants of excitement. Now, we went through a phase where we watched TNA, and I think we did. I remember these things. I obviously have a bit more of a long-term memory than you. Total Non-Stop something or another. I don't know. Now on Destination America. I just think it's the fact that people they didn't want to see TNA buying WWE rejects because they wanted to see TNA make their own stars. They didn't want to see TNA trying to take this guy who was, from his glory years in WWE and try and make him a star. They wanted to get to the point, and fans wanted to as well, where they could say, this is a TNA guy. This is a guy that had no WWE influence. This is a guy that went through the ranks. This is a guy that became a star in TNA. And that is why people really didn't like it when they brought in the WWE reject, so to speak, and also they didn't like this whole old people moniker, like the Bully Rays of the world coming in, the kind of Angles of the world coming in, and the Stings and the Hogans and the Flairs, etc. That didn't help either. You know, like you had WWE rejects and you had legends that were not really all that relevant. And I think that's where most of the hatred comes from. That is understandable to a degree.
As much as I watch TNA for TNA wrestlers, I will say this: TNA, for the most part, with the WWE wrestlers, treat them better. Bubba Ray turned into Bully Ray, a main eventer. Kurt Angle kept on going for a few more years. You had MVP step up to the main event. You had Lashley step up to the main event. You had EC3 created into something perfect. So I think,
don't forget Bram. Once in NXT, now on the main roster in TNA.
So I really do think that we can complain about TNA taking WWE ex-wrestlers instead of creating TNA specialists, but you can't complain with what TNA's done to WWE ex-wrestlers and given them what the WWE, I don't think, would have. Bubba Ray, Lashley didn't really do it, so I think I can't complain with what TNA have done to WWE.
I don't mind the EC3s and the Brams and the talent like that never really made a name for themselves in WWE, so they can't just say, well, you know, this guy was popular in WWE, so we should sign him. They've actually got these guys from NXT, like you know, Derek Bateman and Kenneth Cameron, I believe his name was, from NXT, and they've made them into their own stars. You know, they've built them up onto the main roster, etc. So I don't mind them. I just think it's the former WWE guys that they seem to push to the moon at the expense of their own talent, which can be counterproductive in a way. I think that's what people were just so pissed off about. That's why I can understand. That is one of the reasons that sort of took us off TNA a little bit, wasn't it? One of many reasons. Anyway, so good question. Toby Pierce, do the WWE universe only look for the negative points about WWE? No, I don't think the WWE universe only look for negative points. I just think that here on YouTube, you get more views if you rant, you get more views if you point out negative points. Now, you see people like the Schleg Daddy, they do, you know, he does the odd positive video or not, but why would you do positive videos? And Deluxe Man even did this test when more people are watching your rant videos. Now, it's not the fact that they're only looking for the negative points, it's the fact that they want views, so they'll point out the negative points because it gets them more views because people enjoy it. Plus, negative views are always more audible than positive views. You can do, you know, I've done many NXT reviews where I've said really good show, and someone in the comment has put, why do you always moan about WWE? You know, and I'm just like, hang on a minute. I pointed out so many positives in the show, and you're commenting that I'm moaning about WWE. You know, what the hell? You know.
Thing is, I for a long time and still partly do try and compliment the WWE. I'd like to pick up the positives because, yes, like you said, people point out negatives. The negatives get passed around to other fans. The fans feed off the negativity, want to hear more of the negativity, laugh at the negativity, join in with the negativity.
The cool thing to do.
Yeah, and I can still see some positivity, but when you point out positive facts, it gets overlooked because of the amount of negativity that they've heard elsewhere or they want to hear being pointed out to them.
Plus, it's easy to rant about the wrestling because it's the state it is in now. Ebro S, excuse me. Now that the WWE Network is finally in the UK, do you think the wait was worth it? Well, we weren't really waiting for it anyway. I mean, at first, yeah, maybe when the hype was there, but I remember we talked about this and we were talking about getting the WWE Network and we kind of went against it. I mean, I know I did the free February thing just to try it, but we weren't really all that hyped about the WWE Network, really, were we, at the time?
Nothing's changed. Like, I've heard many people in the UK why they've got it, because obviously they're on the move, they get better reception when they've got
Freddie Thomas
it.
is a good example of that. He loves the WWE Network. He's a devout
and I can see the positive in it, but it's just the one thing that's annoying me about it. I think it's more for the fans would love the idea, but to WWE, I want to shoot them in the head. Let's give them another 3 month. Christmas 3 month, Easter 3 month.
That would be
Halloween.
annoying. If I was a subscriber, that would annoy me. Be like, oh yeah, so you know you can give this 3 month to people that are new subscribers. I mean, I think it really outlines the fact that it's in business. It's mostly about bringing in new customers, not about keeping your existing customers. And it's a real folly in the business world in general, and it's something that a lot of companies really need to sort out, like the WWE.
And one thing I find a bit counterproductive as well is once you've had your 3 months, you can drop out. It's not like you have to pay for the first 2 months, 3 months. So they're losing. Like, oh, you get 3 months, but then you can drop. Again, I just think there's so many flaws in this network thing that I think the WWE need to sort out. But I can say this: I don't think there's going to be anything that's going to make me want to get it.
I mean, the only thing that would make me want to get it is more original content. Because that's really all I'd get it for. I mean, I like the fact you can get old WWE pay-per-views, old ECW shows, Raws from the Attitude Era, but the biggest thing for me when I was on it was I wanted to see the original content, the stuff that I couldn't see elsewhere. That's the attraction of the WWE network.
It was.
And I don't think there's enough of it. I think that it's got to the point now where you really need a lot of it. You really need a consistent stream of these kind of things in order to really please, more like people that are kind of on the fence with it. I mean, I've tried it and I looked at the original content, saw it, got bored of it, and then didn't watch anything else on it, apart from NXT. But that's just, so I don't think it was worth the wait at all. If we'd have got it straight away, then I'd have got it straight away and tried it, and probably would have 6 months down the line thought, what a waste of, what a waste of £60. But there you go. That's been another Q&A, by the way. 20 minutes has flown by once again. We'll be back next week to answer your next batch of questions. It'll be, just as I'm typing this now, it'll be Q&A 204, NJ. That's a
beautiful
that's a bloody lot of Q&As.
But there is one thing I want to say. For the set of Divas questions, again, I do apologise because I know there's that support the Divas thing, but I'm not going to suddenly support the Divas when I don't see much of a hope for change in it.
But NJ, all you do is moan about the WWE.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
All the time. Never positive at all, even though I haven't watched the video. Just saying. Anyway, so where we gone?
But I just think, I'm going to say this. I want to support the Divas, so for the people that are going to study negativity on my rant and thing, I just really, really don't want to join this possible dead-end support the Divas campaign thing you've got going, because I don't think the WWE are taking it as serious as they want us, what they should. So what I'll say is, for your next Q&As, send in Divas if you want, but John Cena questions if you dare, but questions related to stuff that's going to get us to think or to entertain you, some comedy thing. Send them in the comment section below. And for Mr. P, Mr. NJ, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, boom!